So welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to attempt to make the marble soap for the June soap challenge. Let me show you my inspiration picture. So this is going to be my inspiration. It is the marble called Portoro, and it's a really high-end marble that is mostly black with hints of gray and some gorgeous kind of gold veins throughout. So I'm going to try to get something that looks similar or inspired by this gorgeous marble here. I will once again be using my tried and true 5-ingredient recipe that is super fluid. I used it successfully for the Kiss Pour soap challenge. It stays fluid for a really long time. So these are the ingredients. I will include the full recipe and I'll link it below because it already has its own tutorial. So I'll link it below in the description. So check that below, okay? And you'll be able to use this exact recipe if you want to try this soap. For the black, I'm going to use activated charcoal, which I have pre-mixed over here with some lightweight oil. Essentially, this is about 3 tablespoons of charcoal with probably about 5 tablespoons of oil. I won't necessarily have to use all of this, but I mixed up enough to make sure I get a true black. We're going to ombre that with the white soap batter, which I'll go over in a little bit. And then our secondary color is going to be this wonderful kind of chocolate brown. We'll be using 2 additional micas. The copper mica here, this is from Brambleberry, and this gorgeous gold, which is called King Tut and from Man Micas. And our fragrance will be Energy from Brambleberry. This one is supposed to behave very well, so I'm hoping it will not accelerate trace. To get your mica lines for your marble, it's helpful to have something like this, which is just a simple tea strainer for your mica lines. So if you have one of these, feel free to pull it out for this project, or another like sieve type of a small sieve would work as well. Okay, I have all my oils warmed up. They're about 113 degrees, so they need to be a lot lower than this before I start soaping. And then my lye solution is about 74. I'm gonna pop it in the fridge and get it a little bit lower, say about 65 degrees. It is orange, in case you haven't noticed, and that's because I'm using coconut water, which is just phenomenal in soap. I adore the improvement in the bars. They're so silky, just a wonderful slip. It really has like a luxury feel. So I've been using coconut instead of water. And if you'd like to know how to do that safely, I'll include below in the description my last tutorial where I show you how to do this safely, because anytime you add sugar, woo-wee, your lye solution can get super, super, super hot. So you don't want to do this just willy-nilly. So I'll put that tutorial below if you'd like to start adding coconut water to your soaps as well. So both of these need a little bit more time to cool, and then we'll get started soaping. To do the marble soap, you're going to want a slab mold, such as this one. This is a 5-pound slab mold, and I will show you the other mold that you'll need for this technique. In addition, you're going to need a second mold. This is the 5-pound mold from Brambleberry, and what you're going to do is you're going to first ombre the soap into this type of mold first. You're going to wait till it gels up a bit and becomes, say, the texture of thick pudding. And then what you're going to do is start plopping it and making your marble pattern into this slab mold here. So basically, this design requires 2 molds. Okay, I have the oil and the lye sitting here, and I think they're about the temperature I'm happy with. This is 89. And then my lye is 69. So yeah, these are nice and cool, and hopefully the acceleration will be minimal at best, if not none, and we'll be able to get this beautiful ombre started. Let's go ahead and mix these two together. I'm pouring the lye into our oils over a spatula to try to reduce air bubbles. Let's get it all in there. Whoops, go ahead and burp your stick blender. And we want to make sure we're only doing very short bursts, and we want to almost barely get this to an emulsion. So you'll see me not blending it very much. All right, that was about 5 seconds. I want it barely to emulsion here, where at least the oils and the lye will not separate, but it's not thickened up at all. All right, so you can check for emulsion on the bell of your stick blender. If you don't see any separation on the actual metal here, you know that you've reached emulsion. But if you wait a moment or two and you see any separation between the two on the bell of your stick blender, then you'll know that you're not at emulsion yet. I'm going to add my fragrance oil. I already know exactly how much is the safe amount because I went to Brambleberry's website and used their calculator. And in this case, I'm adding 4 ounces. I like my fragrance to be a little on the stronger side. All right, and we're just gonna hand stir this. You don't want to use your stick blender at this point because we're trying to not have the batter seize up or begin to get thicker on us. I'm starting to split off the batches now. So this first one will be 1 pound of soap batter, and that's going to be our brown color. So let me go ahead and weigh this and pour it. Notice how thin this trace is. Super fluid, exactly how I want it. Whoops, I poured a little extra, so I'll pour some back into the main batch. But I'll show you the trace here. It's like water almost, which is what you want because you need some working time, right? You don't want this. Notice how it's just pretty much sinks right back into the batter. It's almost like water. Yeah, so you want really thin trace for this design. This one will be our white portion. And I think I'm gonna do 1.5 pounds of white. Whoops, all right, that should be pretty good. This big batch is probably about 2.5 pounds. It's whatever's left over. And we're going to start adding the charcoal because I want this one to be super dark. All right, so we're gonna really stick with a very dark color scheme here. So let's see how dark we can get this without going overboard. I don't want the lather to be super gray either in the finished soap. So let's pour some in and just kind of see what color we get. Whoops, let me do this with my other hand. Ooh, that's already super dark. See, I didn't think I needed all of this, but I made more than I needed just in case. Yeah, maybe just a tad bit more. I want the base color to be super dark. Yeah, that's really nice. Almost jet black. Yep, and then I'll pour this into I'll probably need more than 1 pour container, but yeah, I'll get this in pour containers as well. All right, I have some titanium dioxide that I already had pre-mixed, and we're gonna add that to make our white, brighten the soap batter a bit for our ombre. And as you see, wonderful thin trace still behaving itself. And that's why I love this particular recipe. I know exactly how it will perform, and it has just been a winner every single time when I needed super fluid recipes that behave themselves. Ooh, beautiful thin trace still. Wonderful. All right, let's go to the brown. In goes the brown. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with the brown. I don't know if I want to ombre it along with the black and white, or if I want to try to create some kind of solid veins that are brown, kind of like our original picture. So this is going to be kind of a mystery for me. I'm not sure exactly how to achieve the picture that we saw earlier. I mean, I have a general idea, but you know, it's kind of a mystery myself. We're gonna be doing a giant experiment, basically. All right, so that's a wonderful brown right now. And as you see, trace is very well behaved. Ah, Beautiful, perfect thin trace. You see how those trailings, now you can see them at the top. They aren't sinking anymore. So the trace is thickened up just a smidge, so they're not sinking, but it is still very thin trace. Okay, I think I am ready to start the ombre. And I think I'm going to try something as well. By the way, I just propped this up on the lid of one of my molds and some Scotch tape. This is super high tech, as you see, very expensive equipment. You'll want to tip your mold here because we're going to be pouring down the wall or the side of our first mold here. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to do a little bit of oil that's already been pre-mixed with that beautiful copper. And I have a pipette here, and I'm going to just swirl some in to see if we can get some beautiful veins with this method as well while we're doing the ombre. All right, so we'll see. I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out. And then we'll do some dry mica later as well for the marbling veins in the marble, basically. Okay, we're gonna start with our black, and we're going to start adding white to it progressively. And I am going to go ahead and suck some of this up here and just kind of swirl it right in the front of my mold, or my pour container, sorry, so that when it pours, it gets a very cool effect. Okay. Here we go. Oh, sorry, it didn't catch that on camera, but yeah, I just kind of squished some in there. Here we go. Ready? All right, that is the first. Now let's add some white to our black. And we're just gonna add just a little bit, okay? Whoops, the spatula is getting messy. I'm trying to kind of show you how much I'm putting in. Just kind of eyeballing it. And then you're gonna stir so that your black gets lighter. And we're gonna do a general ombre gradation here, bit by bit. Let's put my white out of the way. Here we go again, down the wall. And I won't use that copper in every single pass because I want some variation. All right, let's add some more white. Whoops, I am making a mess already. Great. The Scotch tape has been assaulted by soap. All right, getting a nice lighter gray color here. All right, I think I'll do some more copper here in a minute. Let's add some more white. All right, so let's go ahead and add another pipette of the copper for some interest in this pour here. All right. All right, let's add some more white. And you notice most of our stone was black, so for my particular ombre, I might not ombre all of it because there was a lot of black with just some subtleties in the gray in this particular marble. So I might just go all the way back to black here. Because it never really, there wasn't really any pure white in this particular stone. All right. This is probably the lightest gray that I'm going to go. And you know what? I want to put a little of the copper in it here. Whoops, I'm trying to struggle with the copper off to the left here. All right, let's go ahead and pour this layer. All right, now we're gonna start going back to black, I think. I am not sure when I'm gonna add the brown. To be honest, that is kind of an unknown right now. Hold on, let me clean up. Because I was trying to figure out if I should just keep the brown aside and use it after the soap has gelled, but then I think it's gonna be too hard. So I think I might have to get it in here at some point. And maybe I should do it now so that we have a brown layer. Maybe I'll do it now. And in fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add some gold into this brown, I think. All right, sorry, now I can't get everything on camera with the limited space I have up here. All right, let's get a tiny bit of the copper. See, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I am just going to essentially leave it as a powder, but we're going to do the same kind of idea. I'll just give it a small swirl. We're going to do the same idea as the copper liquid. All right, let's see. Ooh, that's kind of cool actually. Ooh wee, that is pretty. You know what? I think I like this. It's going to be exciting to see what it looks like. All right, let's add some more. Ooh-wee. And then we will just gently give it just a little swirl, just so it's not all sitting there. Wow, this is gorgeous. I am excited to see what this will look like. It's already so pretty. And we haven't even gotten to the marble part. But I definitely wanted, whoa, I definitely wanted more than one color. So let's go and get the rest of the, in fact, I'll put some in my leftover gray as well. All right, and again, just kind of gently just go through it. You don't want to mix it entirely in, but I might have to start putting this kind of down a little bit. All right, whoops. This is a messy project, let me tell you. All right, let's carefully put that down and we're gonna just spoon out the rest of this brown, okay? And then I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm gonna give it a nice tap on the counter, release any air bubbles that might be below, and we're gonna start ombreing again. Let's go ahead and start pouring the black from our main container, which woo-wee, you can see it's all the way to the top. So I'm not going to be pouring from this one because it's a little bit much, but we are, you know what? we are going to pour most of it, I think, but not all of it, because I need to start adding the white little bit by little bit. Okay. So far, our trace is getting a little thicker, but not terrible, not terrible. And you know what I'm gonna start doing? I am going to add some more of that beautiful gold, because actually, I think it's giving me a look I am enjoying. Let's see, I gotta get a little, just a little into that tea strainer. All right, not too much, just a little at the top. All right, let's start pouring the black down the side, and then we'll go back to ombre. We want more black here. So let's just get it in there. All right, now let's start ombreing again. Notice our trace is actually thickening up here. Could be that that fragrance from Brambleberry does accelerate trace a little bit, so good thing I had my temperatures low. Oh boy, because that would have been bad if it started to thicken up quicker than I expected. Yeah, so a lot of times if you have a tried and true recipe and it happens to thicken up and you're like, what the heck happened? Usually it's the fragrance. This one was not really supposed to accelerate, but I saw a variety of reviews. Some said it did. So, oh, there goes my laundry in the background. Always multitasking, as you guys know. All right, so this is going to be a little bit lighter. All right, we're going to gently tip with my own hands here. I love how they've made laundry machines sound so incredibly happy to do our laundry for us now. Kind of cracks me up. All right, so let's get some more white in there. All right. All right, let's add a bit more. And again, I don't want to go completely to white because this marble is very dark. And this time I'm not going to do so much of the gold, just to give it a little difference when it's plopped in to the other mold. I might do a little, but all right, we're getting near the top. Yes, we are. Let's do a little bit more white. And what I'll probably do is I'm gonna have soap batter left, I think, so I'll just pop whatever soap batter I have left into individual molds that obviously won't be part of the challenge, but at least it's not wasting soap. I never wanna waste soap, that's for sure. All right, let's do a little of the, let's go back to copper, why don't we? Whoops, I don't think I sucked enough up there. Yeah, there we go. All right, carefully have to kind of hold it here. All right, and then I'll do one last bit of white here. Whoop. You know what? Who cares if there's some bits of drips, you know, stone. That's what's cool about stone. You can actually have it be kind of messy because it's not a ombre that we're keeping the ombre per se. You'll see in a moment, we're chopping it up. So actually, I don't mind having little bits and bobs because you never know, that might make it look more organic, like actual real stone. So I'll leave those cute little bits and bobs in there. And we'll see what they look like when we're all done. All right, here we go. We're getting to that kind of creamy gray that was in the picture. I think I'm going to just get this in at the top. All right, and I think I will just use a little extra white just to cover the brown on the other side. All the way down at the bottom of the soap here in this container. Ooh, I kind of like that. I'll leave it a little streaky there with the colors. You know what? I think I can carefully, let's go ahead and make something kind of cool on this side. Yeah. Maybe this is a bit of a white vein that might be peeking in. All right. Well, we're about at the top. I think what I'm going to do is stop here, and we're going to gel the soap and get it in the warm oven to get it to firm up, and then I'll show you the actual marbling part. I did have quite a bit of batter left, so I went ahead and popped the rest of the batter into this cute little mold from Brambleberry. I'm not going to oven process these. I think I'll just let it sit out on the counter for about a week before popping these out.